Good morning, my stitchy, woolly friends. It's good to see you today. We have Peter behind the camera, and welcome back to the Wool Ornament Club videos. We're moving on to our March kit that hopefully will go out in the mail today. Lisa, who does our shipping, has been in the hospital all week, and she is not a happy camper. She wants out. She can't understand why they don't know that she has a life, and she misses her dog, but you know what? It'll be okay. I told her, I said, you need to be in there to get all well before you can come out. So I will try to get them out. Between Dawn and I will hopefully get them out today. So today, your kit will look like this. And here it says March Skinny Mittens, and we're doing the Snowman mitten. There will be a pair of matching mittens, and then there will be the snowy mitten in your book, but your kit will be for the Snowman mitten only. I know there was a little bit of confusion about that, but when we send our kits out, I have chosen one of the ornaments in that group. There's usually 2 or 3 that are in that group together, but I have chosen one that you will be getting a kit for. That doesn't mean you can't do the other ones. Bust your stash and do those mittens, or you can come in and get some wool here at the shop. So your kit will look like this. You will have 5 skeins of floss and your wool, and this is for your loop at the top to hang your ornament with. As I said before, keep all your flosses together, because at some point, if I've already given you a skein of floss and it's called for in another kit, I will not include another one because we use just such a small amount. About midway, I think ecru is used a lot. So about July, you should receive a second skein of ecru in your kit. So you also have your buttons. There are 2 sizes of black buttons. These, let me see if I can get them separate here. The bigger ones are the buttons for the snowman, and the smaller ones are for the eyes. So don't lose those little ones, which if you don't want to use the buttons, you can just do a French knot for their eyes if you'd rather do something like that. So here is our finished mitten. Grandma Ginger did this one for us, and it's pretty straightforward. There's not a whole lot of new in it. See here, if you don't like the buttons, you could just do French knots, which that's probably what I will do. These are French knots that are looking like snow around it. Your blanket stitch goes all the way around the mitten and the snowman itself. I'm looking back and forth on the book to see. You have a chain stitch here on the hat, and then down the center of the tree is a chain stitch with just a straight stitch coming out for the branches. And looks like French knots for his mouth, a little bit of a satin stitch for his nose. And I think that's it on that one.
What's the scarf? I can't tell on camera. Oh, is it wool with the blanket stitch?
It's wool with the blanket stitch around it.
I couldn't make that out.
Yeah. So, this month is pretty straightforward. I will show you the chain stitch simply because when I went back and looked at the directions, I went, oh, I've been doing the chain stitch wrong probably all my life. When I thought chain stitch, I thought, oh, it's just a lazy daisy. They are very different. So in the back of your book, there are directions on how to do your stitches. So don't get them confused. Oh, the one thing that back on the pattern itself here at the top, there is a feather stitch that Grandma Ginger forgot to put on hers. I just noticed that. So last month, you can refer back to our last video, I showed you how to do the feather stitch. Just don't pull your threads really tight. You want them to look like little horseshoes all connected together. So there's some straight stitches coming off of the scarf, a little outline stitch for the brim of the snowman's hat, and there's probably a lot more embroidery in this one than we've done with the other ones. So I want to show you how to do the chain stitch. It took me a couple tries to figure out how they were doing it in the book, but I did get a few stitches coming up here. Here's some of the chain stitches that I have already done, and the difference between the chain stitch and the lazy daisy stitch is right here at the top of the loop. For a lazy daisy, you would come down here and there would be a stitch right there that would hold your loop in place, and then you would go on and make your next loop. With the chain stitch, you come up in the middle of the loop, and you're going to bring your thread around to make a loop like you're going to do it, and then you go back down, not right in the same hole, but next to it. You don't want a really long distance in your loop because that will make a really stretched out one. You just want maybe like about 1/8 of an inch. You see my needle right there? So you come up there, and you're going to pull your thread through. So leave it to where it looks like a link in a chain. And then instead of going outside of the loop and going down, you're going to go again next to that stitch and then come back up about 1/8 of an inch away, still having your floss down here to make that loop. So you're going to pull through, and then it looks like the link is in the chain. So then you go back down and then come up through your loop on your thread. So it just kind of catches it enough. And as you do them, you'll get the width of your chains even. So that's how you do the chain stitch. You can see I got a little more focused on my bottom ones. I was still trying to figure it out with these, but I think for the mitten, I think you want to use the smaller links and not the bigger ones, because on the tree you want a good trunk on your tree. So the smaller stitches, and you don't have that much room, so you could even shorten them up a little more than this. And then across the hat, you definitely want them smaller because there's not a lot of room up there. It looks like she's got 4 links in there. So that's your chain stitch. And again, the blanket stitch, which we showed you last week, or last month how to do, that goes all the way around the mitten, around the toe, the thumb, the snowman, the scarf, and the hat. So the French knots, if you're not familiar with them, I'll do one on the tail of my, don't look at this last stitch, I'm going to make it as a lazy daisy stitch, because a French knot, you're just going to come up through the back of your wool. You're going to take your floss, and with your needle, you're going to wrap twice around your needle. There's 1, 2. And then make sure that this tail, that you come on the other side of it and go down. I put my needle about halfway through and then kind of pull my floss so that it's tightened up around the needle, and then pull your needle the rest of the way through. And there you have a French knot. So you come up, wrap your floss tight. So you'll go, if your needle is in the right hand, you go to the left of your floss. There's 1, 2, wrap it twice. Then you go back down really close to where you came up, but not in the same spot. You want some wool in between. Just give it a little tug so it pulls your floss down to look like the knot. And then pull your floss through. So there you go. If you don't tighten up your floss around your needle, you're going to get loopies to where it looks not like a knot. So you definitely want a knot. And see, when you pull it up, you can kind of tighten it up even a little more. So we'll do one more. Wrap twice. Bring your floss around. Go down. Tighten up your floss and pull through. And my floss got squirrely, so I just pull it through from the back. And if you don't like how you do them, you can take them out and practice on another piece of fabric until you've gotten the hang of it. This one's got a little bit of a loop on it. I should have pulled it through. And that's all embroidery is a lot of practice when you figure out how to do the stitches. Again, in the back of your book is directions on how to do the embroidery stitches. And I also showed a couple of books that we have here in the shop that will give you all the directions. I really like that book because it gives great directions. The book I was referring to that I like the best is called Hand Embroidery Stitches at a Glance. Now, they up and changed the cover on us. So this is the book that I showed you in the original video. This is the new cover. Same content inside, but they changed the cover on it. So it's the same book. We have one of the old cover in the shop and several of these. So again, this is a good compact size. You can stick it in your project bag, in your basket, however you store your wool projects when you're working on them, so you can have these with you. So I think that's all I have for you today, but I will tell you there's a good little surprise in your kit this month, and I'm not going to show it to you, so you'll just have to wait until you get it in the mail. Daffodils are starting to bloom, so I think spring is on its way. I won't say it's here because we know Indiana weather, but the daffodils are blooming and the grass is growing. It's green. The lawn companies are out, so it's coming, folks. So just be patient. Let's get through all the rainy spring weather and get on. It's time to start thinking about your garden and your flower beds and cutting your grass and trimming your trees. And I think we lost our apple tree over the winter.
No.
It was having issues last year, and we said we'll give it till the spring, and I went and looked at it, and it's not looking so good. So I'll just have to cut it down and plant another one. But the grandkids will be upset they don't get applesauce, but I will go to the orchard and buy apples and make applesauce. So there will be applesauce in the house. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to call me here at the shop, 317-776-4227, and I'll be happy to help you out. Or if you happen to be in the shop, just ask for me and I'll come out and see what I can do to help you. So I hope you're keeping up. I know this is only the second one. Don't tell anybody, but I haven't done the first one yet. But that's okay. I will catch up. And I look forward to seeing your projects. You can post them on our Facebook page so we can see what you're doing. You can bring them into the shop. So we like to see that you're following along and you're doing what we're helping you do. So enjoy the weather. Stay in because it's kind of rainy and yucky outside. And hopefully I believe the sun's supposed to shine this weekend. So enjoy every minute of that. So we'll see you next month.